Hello, everyone, and welcome to State of the Realm. The content drought, it be coming to an end, and thus the shows, they be coming back. Yeah, like I said, we don't try not to force too many shows in between everything, because do you really need a billion doom and gloom episodes and content droughts? I don't think so, but now we're here to bring you some exciting talking about the latest live letter, and I've been awake for 11 hours already, so excuse me if my English sounds just about as good as you just heard. I'm one of your hosts, Mr. Happy, and of course joining me with his very naturally lit background is Sly. Hello.
Hi, I'm alive.
Are you not supposed to be alive?
I mean, given the length, maybe not as long as you, but the length I've been up, because I kind of woke up right before the live letter, just pretty much like 30 minutes before the live letter, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm alive. I'm good.
Yeah. I set my alarm for 1:30, normal for me. I usually start stream to get ready to go around 2, but I naturally woke up at 1:03, so I couldn't even get to the full sleep I wanted. Because once I was awake, Ivy was awake, and I was like, oh, shit. All right. Wasn't happening. All right. But yeah, we're going to talk about Live Letter 86, our part 2 live letter for patch 7.2. Long anticipated, as Dawn Trail's earlier sections of its expansion have been relatively criticized for lack of content. And that discussion will likely continue into the 7.2 bit because of the schedule. Before we get started, just a reminder to everyone that Steel Series is a sponsor of the channel. I said I would be better about that in this year, and I haven't been, because we haven't done too many shows, and B, because I've been relatively distracted in real life, especially throughout the beginning of the year, especially throughout the last 2 weeks. So I'm trying to be better about it. I even have their new mouse pads they just released there in the back. Well, and I have one of them right here. Exclamation mark Steel Series in the Twitch chat or on the YouTube side. There's always a link with a discount code in the comment section, in the description. See, I can't speak. I can't do it. It just doesn't happen. Oh, man.
We'll get you through the show. We will get you through the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we got you.
See, here's the thing. I look like the one that's always full of energy, right? But Sly has the consistency down, right? He's got his flow of energy is consistent the whole way. Now, before we get into the live letter, Sly,
okay,
or at least before we get into the game details, first, what do you have in your beverage cup?
I have Joseph A. Magnus Cigar Blend. This is one of my unicorns that I got found in the wild right before Christmas. Definitely one of the best bourbons you can probably ever have. Highly recommend.
Number 2, are you upset that the Zodiac and Heidelin whiskeys are already sold out?
Honestly, no. Honestly, no. And see, okay, here's the thing. The whiskeys, they've done this kind of collaboration before with same company, Mahagan, and again, I'm a stickler for my whiskeys. I'm a stickler for my bourbon. If you noticed, those whiskeys are a little bit on the light side, on the lighter side, in terms of color. So I don't know if they gave an age statement. I was looking up to see if they had an age statement. And they didn't have one. So they're relatively, I would say relatively younger whiskeys. I would say at least 2 year. I would. If I had to guess, I'd say 2 years, which is very, very light on age. And you can tell because they're really, really light. They're not as dark. Maybe the Zodiac one was a little bit, but yeah.
He did say the Zodiac one was the stronger of the two. So
okay. But yeah, either way. And typically, and I haven't had a Mahagan ever, so can't say this, but in comparison to American whiskeys, Japanese whiskeys are typically on the lighter side. Mahagan mostly is, I think they said it was 47, so I want to say 95, 96 proof, which ain't bad, but I honestly don't think the flavor is going to be there. But if you if anyone tries it, if anyone gets it, please tell me how it tastes. I need nose notes. I need palate, finish, everything. Give me everything. Please.
I will say I did have, I think it was Final Fantasy 15 wine. They had like, maybe it wasn't 15, but they had the Ifrit and Shiva wines some years ago.
Yeah.
And I did get them, and I did have both. They were not very good. I'll be honest. The Shiva one, I think the Shiva was a white wine, and that was okay if you're a fan of white wines. The Ifrit red wine wasn't very good. So, I can't say that I'm in the highly in the recommended category for those wines. You're really paying for the packaging more than anything. It's like buying Beats by Dre. Not a great headset. You're buying them because they have Dr. Dre's name on them.
Right.
So yeah, that's not the greatest. So okay, with that, we can get into actually talking about the show. I actually scrolled up too high and I ended up going all the way back to the previous live letter briefly. This was a pretty exciting live letter, at least for me.
Okay. Yeah, it's exciting. I think for a lot of people, maybe including you, part of the reason is the drought, of course.
Right.
Yeah, the big content drought. And again, like you said, as the show started, as of recent, there's been a lot of doom and gloom in 14. And I've seen over the past couple weeks, maybe three weeks, a lot of doom and gloom videos. Is Dawn Trail the worst expansion ever? I mean, fuck, we just started. Shut up. But I didn't just start.
We started like fucking 10 months ago. So you know what's so
10
funny?
months ago.
I get 0 recommended Final Fantasy 14 videos on YouTube. I'm so like cleansed of watching it.
I don't know, because most of my recommended videos are A, food, B, Smosh Reddit things, and then shorts about suits because I like to show suits. And then for some random reason, I'll get a video about, hey, why is Dawn Trail so terrible? I fucking hate Wooklamon. And I didn't really look for this, but thanks, YouTube. Great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
For me, no, it's not that. Because I'm very disciplined at playing other things. I mean, I've been doing my whole Final Fantasy Platinum thing. Plus I've had plenty of I'm okay in between. Like I have a far healthier relationship with the game than I used to. So
and that's another thing. But happy, we shouldn't play other things. It's not healthy for the game.
I will say this, that I don't find the go play something else. Like, yes, it's a funny joke to make because Yoshi P, but I will say that you shouldn't shut down criticism about the game. Like, I agree for certain it's healthier to have a relationship with the game where you do step away from it and comfortably step away and step back into it whenever you want. That being said, that doesn't necessarily mean some people use it as a means of shutting down feedback. And then some people also just genuinely way too index hard on one thing. It's a little bit on both. It's both sides taking things to extremes. So I will say that. Yeah. But also, you should definitely play other things. The game's always been designed that way, and the beginning of Dawn Trail has very much been in support of that thought, because I can't imagine. There are some people who I just genuinely can't figure out how they log in as often as they do. They're the ones who end up being upset too, and I'm just like, I can figure out why. Oh yeah, do you just date other people when you're in a committed relationship? How does that work out? Chat.
And see, I don't use it as a complete dismissal of feedback as well. For myself personally, I just love way too many fucking games, and so when there's nothing to do. Yeah, of course I'm gonna, go do some other shit. And yes, I understand that the overall health of the game is dependent on the player base. What I don't believe is that, hey, if we lose someone, we're more than likely to lose them permanently, and they just completely Yeah,
I've seen enough retired raiders be like, next patch, that's it, I'm done. Anyone need anyone? Anyone recruiting?
Yeah.
Recruiter's like, you motherfucker, stop calling yourself retired. I'm in the retired raid group. What does that mean?
and we've been in this game for so long. We've been in it. You've been longer than me, but we've been in this game so long that we've seen the wave, and this is just another fucking wave. It happens every time. And I was talking about this with someone else. I remember when, remember the start of fucking Stormblood and how we were doom and gloom and fucking Stormblood.
No, doom and gloom. So you're not incorrect. The start of Stormblood and the start of Dawn Trail are actually very identically similar. But here's the thing: the start of every expansion is identically similar. The difference being Stormblood. And
I would say Shadowbringers less so than any other.
Yes, I completely agree. But here's the thing. Shadowbringers had the least doom and gloom for two reasons. One, there was a very good reason why we were in a content drought for a lot of Shadowbringers, and it was very much out of everyone's control. Number two, Stormblood ended up being one of the most content-dense expansions we ever had released. So everyone came into Shadowbringers with a great deal more patience than they had because for some people they still had to go back and do Eureka like after the fact. Like Eureka ended up being Shadowbringers content for people and not Stormblood content. Like that's just the nature of how it worked out. With Dawn Trail, it's coming after Endwalker, which for some people was a major high in a 10-year story, now being followed up by what is a very much ground level new character introduction with some historic characters, which even then, foregoing that, a lot of people have criticisms about individual story elements, some that are fair and some that I think are exaggerated. But two, Endwalker was historically not a good MMO expansion. They themselves claim they used it as a means of getting all of their like solo elements in play so that anybody could just pick up and play the game more directly. Right. And the few things they tried to do that were new, quite frankly, didn't land, like Island Sanctuary. So that patience is greatly diminished after the fact. And so when Dawn Trail starts off and the things people are looking forward to aren't really going to be there until almost a year later, it's a fair criticism to say that this whole beginning of the expansion thing doesn't work as well. But what we might see is by the end of this expansion, people have more patience at the start of the next one, still in disdain if they do the same thing, but more likely to tolerate whatever the start of 8.0 looks like if they still have stuff that they're looking back on that's unfinished from the previous expansion.
Yeah.
So there's so many facets to it that are both legitimate and exaggerated. Mostly, a lot of the times exaggerated for sake of entertainment and or, it's the current buzz, I suppose. It's hard to tell the difference without watching any individual and their kind. I literally don't watch 14 content ever. So every time someone's like, hey, did you see that new 14 video? I'm like, no. Literally, my YouTube page is all either like it's like medical videos or clips of Brooklyn Nine-Nine right now. Like that's 90% of what's there. And you know actually there are Final Fantasy 14 videos that get recommended to me. My own, for some reason. The only person it recommends is my own. I guess because I'm the only it just goes, well, that's the only 14 creator you ever watch. I was like, watch! I am that guy! Why are you recommending me my own videos? Stupid YouTube. I want to fucking watch me. Why would I do that? I don't even want to listen to my own voice when I edit. You want to make me watch my own videos? Shit. It's like I'm being waterboarded in the YouTube form.
Oh my God.
Shut up, past haps. And we have to talk about that note here because we did get a teaser of pretty much everything. They even went in-game for Cosmic Exploration, Occult Crescent, even PvP they went in. And that was some fun stuff.
First fight of Arcadian.
First fight of the Arcadian, right. So we got a lot of in-game presentation. And we also got the exact schedule of what we're getting. And it is the usual staggered release. And the staggered release is something we've always had, but everyone's like, their patience is at like,
it's wearing thin. And this is one thing I really wanted to talk about because it's been highly discussed as of recent. So like one of the big talking points has been the patch cadence and in terms of like the content and hey there and we get a live letter and we get a trailer and like, hey, you're getting all this in 7.2 and or yada yada yada, and it's like, well, you're getting this in 7.21, 7.25, 7.21965, you know, so on and so forth.
Right.
And people have solutions, you know. Certain content should be released early, if not at the beginning of the expansion. Certain content, you know, should be spaced out and we should get more. What would be the happy medium?
Because it's yeah, it's funny, Sly.
That was not fucking intended. Shut up. But yeah, what would be the happy medium where, you know, I guess because not everyone's going to be content, but what would be the happy medium where the majority of players are content? Because there's the option to kind of, you know, for Square to kind of blow their load at the beginning of the expansion and just front load everything.
Big fan of blowing my load immediately.
or front load certain things, you know, Cosmic Exploration or Crescent, or Occult Crescent, front load that. But I have a thing about Occult Crescent, which is like, I have a thing about which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
Or just space it out.
I think in isolation of looking at one patch and foregoing everything that came before it as a means of determining it, that the cadence of the staggering is fine.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is how long it takes to get to the patch you want and then to see it staggered. That becomes so it really is, again, a victim of previous decisions. And I do think that even if Cosmic Exploration was timed earlier for the expansion, I really think everything that's previewed for an expansion should be out by 0.15. If you're going to preview it in all of the fan fests, it should be something that's out within the first like 6 to 7 months of the expansion. Because what you're like, Beastmaster, we know we're getting Beastmaster. We're not going to see Beastmaster for another like 9 months, probably. Like, it's late Dawn Trail. Like, it almost would have been better to have never mentioned it and then just surprise us with it close. Like Blue Mage, we didn't know we were getting Blue Mage until a fan fest. And then they're like, by the way, it's coming out in like 2 weeks. And we're like, what the? Okay. And I think that's like, I know they want to like detail everything they're going to do for the whole expansion. That's like kind of always been their MO. But I think you need to show, because especially with the way they're going to be, but we'll talk about it later with the way they're doing Occult Crescent, it definitely actually lends itself to an earlier release cadence. And obviously they didn't finish it and then sit on it for, 9 months. They timed it specifically for this patch. And that's the thing. I think they need to reconsider timing it for this era of time.
And another thing to consider, and this is not me being an apologist, it's just something I think of in the back of my head. The development cycle for each piece of content, like when they announce it or when they say they're working on it, one, how long is it going to take? Is it already prepared? Because like you said, Occult Crescent was prepared. It was prepared. It was earmarked specifically for this time frame. But what about other content? Like how long? Like one thing I take into account when I see the patch cadence is, okay, well, they're maybe working on certain things or maybe hashing out a few kinks in certain content. And I honestly, I mean, even for playing this game for how long I have, I don't know how the sausage is made. So I can't speak on,
Just imagine Yoshi P cramming content into the top of a sausage
just grinding
machine,
some meat.
And then the casing, just holding the casing as a
But yeah, I can't speak on like how long development takes for certain content, but like it makes me take that into consideration. Like, you know, yeah, we're not going to be able to get this initially, but they're working on it, and it's like, okay, I can understand that, but a little bit, I can understand that a little bit.
Yeah,
But
it's just. I think the what they've built. It's just. I think it's just showing its cracks. Because here's the thing, I will. I wouldn't step away from 14 for its release cadence. Again, I just have a healthy enough relationship to want it all that time and to be able to criticize it all that time, but still want to play it when it comes out. Like that's kind of that's the mindset that I generally function in. But that doesn't mean it shouldn't. There shouldn't be feedback and it shouldn't change and it shouldn't get better.
Right.
And since this has been a discussion so much, I want to be clear about that because everyone thinks that we're just like, oh yeah, they're just doing it, so it's fine. No, we still want change. We're just also going to talk about the content, objectively without considering before and after.
And again, like again, what we're getting, and I'm not shitting on anybody's opinion or anything because it's feedback and it is constructive feedback. Hopefully it is. But what was I going to say? Yeah, I'm not discounting anyone's opinion. I'm not discounting any feedback because again, that's what it is. We're not shitting on the game. We as consumers, we paid a sub for a fucking reason. We love this game. So if we didn't, we would just happily accept everything that was given to us.
Yeah. And but you know what? I probably, as long as I like this content, I will do it when it comes out. But I wish I didn't have to wait this long, especially because Cosmic Exploration is going to be 2 days separated from Clair Obscur. So, all right. So now to actually talk about it. So they did have a trailer. I'm not going to show it because, quite frankly, I'm too fucking tired to even like watch it back again. Just straight up, I don't have the energy to do it right now. Pretty good trailer. I was surprised at how much it initially indexed on Occult Crescent, given it is still some weeks away. But I think they understand it's a major content and they wanted to feature it pretty prominently. Cosmic is also there as well. And then a lot of story bits. And I mean, honestly, I was really pleased with the point 1 story. So I'm very excited to see the point 2. And it looks like it's, I still swear it's like a horror. They're trying to go for like a horror theme a little bit with, if I see Sphene smile at me like that one more time, I'm ready for her to just pull out the knife. So it's frightening. So I was excited for all the bits that were there. Beatrix, Forked Tower, Occult Crescent, and we actually did get to see all 4 Arcadian bosses. Although it looks like they're keeping the transformation of the final boss completely out of the trailer.
Right.
Which was a surprise. I was surprised they actually did show us all 4 bosses. Some people are suggesting, so there's one in there that's like a horrible abomination that like is in a wall and is like teleporting around and doing different AoEs. Some have suggested that might be Brute Bomber, but in a fucked up like experiment form. So it's as a reminder, the ether sickness that they get from transforming eventually kills them. And they're like subdued on one of the higher floors. I wonder if we see him early on and then he kind of throughout the first couple of fights, he subdues and then they have to jail him away. And when we go there, he gets unleashed on us. That's the theory that's actually him because of his bracelets. He has the same bracelets as Brute Bomber does. So he might just be like really fucked up in some capacity, but I don't know if that's him for certain, but we have kind of seen and or had the other 3 teased throughout like either screenshots or the previous live letter. And so be an interesting twist. It is supposed to be kind of like a dark twist on like stuff happening behind the scenes and like wrestling federations and stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if he actually ends up being an abomination. And I bet he'd be the 3rd fight again to boot.
Oh my God. For some reason, I'm thinking the Lalafell is the 3rd fight.
I think the Lalafell is the 2nd fight. Oh, so Okay, let's go through things in order because I'm jumping ahead.
Okay.
Let's go through. Let's start going through things in order. So patch will be March 25th. We knew this already, but they said it again. And let me rephrase. They didn't say it before, but they said late March, and there's only one Tuesday in late March. So it was pretty much a foregone conclusion. There will be a 24-hour
plus again
maintenance.
The 19-week math.
Yes, and that does support my usual 19-week math. And then they just did a brief overview, here's MSQ, here's the underkeep, here's the new trial. 1 totem per clear on the trial again.
So you're thinking pretty short fight.
I'm thinking Enrage is 10.5 minutes. Usually that's what it means. It means like a 10.5 minute Enrage versus a 12.5 or a 13.5 like it normally is for the other 2 totem fights. So yeah, like groups that are really well geared, like once they have like gear from Savage, will probably beat it in like 8 minutes. And with crafted gear, you'll probably beat it in like 9 in a decent group with like a good amount of time to spare. But I mean, that does mean 99 runs for them out. Unless they're going to start changing the prices on those later down the line, then, it means a lot of runs. Now, they finally went out of their way to do 2 things. So they did this actually in an interview yesterday that they released with Famitsu, as well as...
The Famitsu interview.
Yeah. They also did 4Gamer and Game Watch, all of those. Savage will be releasing 1 week after patch. They had not said that until the last couple of days. So everyone's taking off work like,
right.
Confirm it?
We have been waiting on that news, like you especially, like...
But they not only did that, they confirmed that will be the way it is from now on for point 2 and point 4.
Okay.
So there is no more questioning from now on that they are going to do that. We will have the 1 week delay forever. Now, on expansion launch, probably still that 1 month kind of like total gap, the 2 weeks and the 2 weeks. But point 2 and point 4 will have a 1 week delay. Whereas the crafted gear will come out on 7.2. This is the same as 6.2 and 6.4 as well. Yeah, Sly made bank. Sly made so much more money in 6.2 and 6.4 than he normally makes because the market was not like cornered as much by the people like hiring specific crafters. All of the raiders had to go to the market board or decided to go to the market board. So the sales were pretty consistent.
Oh, no. See, I didn't do market board. Fuck that.
Yeah, I know. You took pre-orders.
I'm grassroots.
Yeah.
Grassroots. And I will do the same.
Yeah, you just do pre-orders for everyone because no one's in a rush. So you don't have to be anyone's bitch.
Yeah.
You just got to get to it as quick as possible. Unreal is Suzaku, as we knew. That's going to be a disaster. Suzaku way harder than Byakko.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because people can't play Simon.
No, that's not the reason. It's because she just randomly pulls you in or pushes you back with just a cast bar. And nobody pays attention to cast bars. That's why Sweep the Leg kills people.
Oh, my God.
Like, think of Sweep the Leg kills people because they don't look at cast bars.
But the thing is, like, Sweep the Leg is a lot quicker than the push and pull.
Sly.
It's a lot
Sly,
quicker.
it happens at the same time after he does 2 fucking jumps. He grabs a tank, slams them, grabs another tank, slams them, and then does it. And you have like 30 seconds to figure out that Sweep the Leg is coming.
But I'm just saying the push and pull, like, at least I pay attention. I pay attention to it, so I know they'll either run out or just vice versa. Like it's way more forgiving, I think.
I think you're full of it. Dude, I'm afraid of the bird placements in phase 1. Before even getting to phase 2, I am afraid of the bird placements.
Oh, God. Oh, man. I forgot about that. There is a complete phase 1 that we have to do.
Yeah. I'm worried.
Yeah.
Sakura is coming back after being gone for nearly 3 years as well.
Yay.
I mean, I really liked Sakura. Sakura, I think, the problem with Sakura was getting around the map took too long, and they seem to have largely
and they talked about it, and they kind of rectified a few things, which great. Like, hey, everybody go mid. Yeah, I'll be there in like a minute. Not anymore.
Yeah. Then we they briefly talked about job adjustments. Big thing is they have confirmed Picto will be nerfed, very minorly, I assume, in this patch.
I think so. I think so too.
Yeah, I think they're just gonna hit.
It'll still be it'll probably still be the strongest job right now. But
no. So here's the thing: in full uptime, Picto is kind of in an okay balanced spot right now, but it still is a dominant pick within the caster role. So I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna hit the potency on the hammer, because the hammer is subsequently a really strong uptime tool, but it's also one of the biggest benefits you get out of downtime, like Fru has. So I think that by hitting that, they knock it down only a slight bit in full uptime, and they start to kind of address the problem they had with the balance for it in Fru as well. So I think that's what they'll do, and that's probably the right decision. But they also said melee DPS are going to be getting a buff.
Great.
Yep. Dragoon probably getting it.
I mean,
Sly.
Great. Yay.
They didn't mention Fizz range at all. I can't help but notice.
Sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Oh God. The monthly Dragoon buff is still a thing. And we didn't ask for this shit. Like I'm in a good place. I'm okay. And yet we still get buffs. I don't know why. And quick thing, going back to Picto, I think Star Prism maybe get a nerf too.
Possible. I think it's specifically the painted skills are the ones that I would be looking at. Because like if they hit the combos, I don't think that has the impact that they want. I think they probably want to hit any of the painted skills.
Yeah.
But Fizz ranged, of course. Great. What's it called? So new crafted gear, obviously. Duty support for Sunken Temple of Karn. New tombstones, all that usual stuff. Cosmic Exploration. Cosmic Exploration is in 0.21. Occult Crescent is in 0.25. Alongside the Mammal Jaw and Hildebrand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then they actually got into in-game showcasing, and they showed off M5 or Cruiserweight M1, whichever you prefer. And it is our friend Dancing Green, aka Bunny Frogman.
The funky ninja disco frog from Persona 4.
Yes. And I already can tell I'm gonna love this fight. Now,
because it's a DDR fight.
No.
I know what you mean.
That's so okay. There's something very particular that people may not have noticed, that as a rhythm game player, if this wasn't on purpose, I will be surprised. So
the mechanics moves to the beat.
Yes, very in particular. There's a different version of the track out of combat as in combat.
And in combat, yeah, I heard that.
And his attacks are to the beat of the in combat version of the music.
Yep.
So I'm just a big fan of that.
Okay. So do you feel like, mechanically speaking, that makes, I mean, this is the first fight of the tier. Do you feel mechanically that makes the fight a little bit more, because fights are already a dance anyway. It's like choreography anyway. So it makes it more of a dance, but do you feel like having that makes the fight easier, because, if we're already jamming the music anyway, because we
so here's the thing. A lot of people don't play with the music on, so it's not even going to be an advantage. A lot of people just put on their own like playlists and shit in the background while they're raiding.
That's fair.
So that's going to be completely lost on them. Number two, just because somebody can hear that it's to the music doesn't necessarily mean they have the rhythm, or they're like rhythmically inclined.
Rhythmically inclined, yeah.
Yeah. So it may not even be that useful for them. But for people who are, I think it is another way to actually remember the timeline along with the song. It's something I've always said about like Ultimate, or like, great example, Phase 2 M4S is always to the exact same parts of every song. So it's very easy to remember exactly what is happening and what you're supposed to do when you can co-correlate it with the music in the background.
Right.
Because the music resets when you wipe. It goes back to the out of combat music. It's actually not too, so a fight that actually has very dynamic music, probably the most dynamic music of any Savage fight, is Bahamut, because all of the different parts of answers have to play in such a way.
Play it in sequence. Yeah. Like, I get it. Yeah.
And not only that, but they don't, there's no guarantee you're going to get through certain parts of the song at the same time. So it's based on the phase you actually are in. So it needs to go between the musical phases pretty much seamlessly at every point. So we've seen that they're pretty good at making this stuff work consistently. And I'm curious. I really hope that it does work the way it sounds like it's working, because in what they showed, it was exactly to the beat.
Right.
So I think it's more than likely a more dynamic.
Do you think we see tempo changes to it based on how further the fight goes on?
So we see a tempo change right in the normal mode, actually, in the first bit. The first bit he just goes and just does the one side. Then to the beat, he goes. And then he does.
Yeah.
So he's like, so they're already doing like small tempo changes within like the different mechanics to how he's dancing. But yeah, he's dancing to the BGM the entire time for all of his mechanics that we've seen so far, which is not a lot, but I'm already very impressed by Disco Bun Frog. We did also get to see the gear. A lot of it's very Arcadian casual wear.
Yeah, and I'm a fan of it.
The weapons.
I need to see my spear. I want to see the spear, and I want to see the machinist gun in particular.
The gunblade's a chunker, and we have a literal doom fist for Monk now.
I saw that. Holy shit! I'm glad you weren't the only one who said doom fist. Yeah.
I was sooner. I started like, that's the closest we'll get to Ratatan weapons ever. Because they're almost like, they're so big, they're practically shields. So that was dope. The phys range hard to see. That you can't really see the weapon, but you can see the gear. The gear is all fine. I'm not like wild about it, but I don't hate it, but I'm not wild about it, you know?
Right.
But I also have no fashion sense anyway. So who gives a shit what I think? The very PSO2 style daggers.
Oh yeah. The red mage weapon. Holy shit.
Yeah, the red mage weapon was a personal favorite also. Didn't care much for the white mage one. The scythe is cool. But yeah, it was I was pleased mostly with the weapons, the gear, again, whatever. I'm not wild about casual wear, but I'm not a glam fiend. So I'm like not the person to even like, my opinion means nothing. I just wear whatever the current, like I'm wearing the full chaotic set right now, not because it looks cool, but because it's just what I have. Like that's what I have glammed on, is the full chaotic set. So just so people be like, wow, that guy has the full chaotic set. And I'm like, yeah, I don't care how dumb I look. I don't care. I look like a fucking bird. Okay. Then we got the PvP updates, and while we do have secure, it's not the only thing that's happening with PvP. So for one, as a reminder, they confirmed in the last live letter in the official digest that the series rewards, old series rewards, would start returning this patch.
Took them long enough.
Yes, we can finally stop asking about when that's going to start happening, because it should be 7.2 according to the official digest. But they also added role actions exclusive to large-scale PvP that'll work on all of them, not just secure. Yeah.
Now, they only for the example, they only showed one of each, right? But we get three. You get three choices, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The only other choices we can really tell, so you can actually hold up like a Google Translate app and try to get the answers. Like one of them for caster was Phantom Dart, and I don't remember the other one off the top of my head. And there's enough uses of Phantom Dart in the game that you can probably figure out what that means. But if I'm going to try to grab the names of the tank ones real quick. Might have to zoom in. Yeah, let me zoom in real quick. Let's see. Looks like I see one that looks like Rampart. Yeah, one's Rampart and one's Full Swing. So we've actually had those before. I forgot what Full Swing used to do when we had it, but Rampart is probably just an additional defensive, I would assume.
Yeah. And then it's funny that they took For the Fizz range, they took Dervish from what, Lost Dervish?
Yeah, that's Dervish is originally from Bozia. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so Rampage is one of the tank ones. Rampage is the like helping my team do more damage. Rampart is the stay alive. And I can't remember what Full Swing did. I know it's an old PvP action. I just don't remember what its effect was. And it probably does something similar to what it used to do. Stoneskin 2 is returning, which is hilarious. Swift is for melees. I assume Swift is going to be for finalizing kills so you don't get peeled off someone and or for getting away.
Yeah, because like it's yeah, like Yoshi P said, it's to get home. No, I'm chasing down bitches with Swift. I'm chasing down bitches. Like it's and it usually happens because like when you're in a fight, especially in PvP maps these days, and you're a DPS and you want to go after that kill, but you really can't because you're not sprinting, you're just fucking attacking, and then they get away with like an inch of their life. Yeah, I'm using Swift for that. That's what I'm using.
So chat has informed that the original Full Swing would do a 1200 potency attack. I don't know if that's potency is going to stay the same because I think they would scale it probably 12,000 now.
Yeah.
But it also had a 15 yalm knockback. So it's a disengage.
So wait, 12,000. So you think the roll action is going to be like a really, really strong.
That's really, not really that strong. 12,000 damage is not a lot in PvP. You got to remember that potency in PvP.
Well, to be fair, what is common?
I mean,
did they show the potency
a lot of
of
actions
Comet?
are 6 to 8, like random, like just combo actions are like 6 to 8,000 most times.
Yeah.
So I mean, 12,000 if you have it as just like an off global, not that bad. But that's and keep in mind, I'm saying if it's 12,000, 1,200 is what it was before.
Yeah.
We don't know what it is, so I'm just going to assume that maybe they would just bump it.
And the reason I say Comet because like Comet looks really strong, and I can imagine like. And the thing about Comet is like you are stuck in it, like you're just there. So I could imagine, if you're really, gaming and gaming as a team, I can imagine some CC, and depending on how long I've like the Comet cast, it didn't look that long, but it didn't look that short either. It's kind of like a good medium for the cast time, but I can just imagine like a bunch of casters, like just get like 4 or 5 casters and then just cast Comet. Massive death.
I just wish we had bushes to hide in. Just comment someone as they're going by. Just have somebody like bind them in place.
La casters and they're just all casting.
Yeah, and then you just bind the motherfucker and then just Comet him down.
Yeah.
Although Comet probably doesn't go through guard. So it's probably, you got to wait till somebody's guard is actually already used.
Yeah, and that's why I said like you would definitely want to CC before casting. You want to be team gaming.
Yeah. But it's interesting. I mean, just adding a little more life to the large scale PvP modes. So I'm never going to say no to that. Then other than that, they reminded people of what the rules are to secure. It makes sense. Anyone who started playing in the last 3 years.
Because a lot of people haven't seen security. It's been 3 years. So we've gotten a lot of new players. So definitely understandable that they would have to explain it.
Yeah. And then they explain the new stuff. So like when you're standing on one of the points to try to either trying to capture it or defending it, anyone who's just near a point in the capture zone gets a massive damage buff. Makes things like Full Swing definitely more considered, because if you can remove someone from the node and they lose the buff and then you can somewhat keep them out of it, it's going to go a long way.
Yeah.
And then, in the middle, they have the Allegan weaponry. They've changed them slightly. There's like a gold one, and the actual rules for engagement there are different. Yeah, there's like towers to take. So like that's how it worked before, but it's been reworked the way that the actual machinery functions in the game. And we actually got to see this later. There's a new UI element that gives you timers relevant to like when they become available, when they're going to go away, how long until they spawn.
Is such a good quality of life. Because I mean, like, because we played it enough, we kind of like people kind of got a sense of the timing, like, hey, mid's about to pop. Yeah. So now we don't have to, depend on, certain people within our alliance. We can just look at a timer.
Yeah, I mean, it
that's
was
such a good
usually
quality
like,
of
oh,
life.
this always happens. Like, let's say the instance timer was like 20 minutes. Be like, oh, this always
Yeah.
happens at 18:45, and this always happens at
Mhm.
18, and like, yeah, that was generally what it was before. Or it's like always exactly 3 minutes after this thing, and yeah, people just know all that stuff, and now you don't need to. There's going to be a UI element. For it.
And okay, for this particular quality of life, do you think it shifts to other PvP modes? Do you think they will shift it to other PvP modes, such as like, I don't know, Chatter?
For any of that,
Even though you talk shit about Chatter, but like, yeah, like, do you think they shift it to where, hey, these nodes are about to pop up? Here's the timer.
I don't think that Shatter would benefit from people being alerted to ice spawning when and where. I feel like Shatter kind of
not the where, but just the when.
Well, I mean,
but
the when is relevant to when they're being. So you'd have to create timers for every ice, effectively. Then again, it's been a while since I haven't played the new Shatter map, so maybe you don't need to worry about that. Because doesn't Shatter? Yeah, because they changed Shatter. Shatter's not the way it was before.
I mean, yeah, they show you like the map itself will show you, like, hey, this is about to pop up in like a few like.
Oh well, then what do we need this for? They already have it then. They don't need this. They have that already. They have it. It has its own.
Okay. Okay. Here's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, the map will show you. The map will show you like 30 seconds. You have 30 seconds to get there and get ready. But usually there's a period in between that where like nothing's fucking happening. Nothing's up.
I mean, that's fine. They still give you the heads up. That 30 seconds is really all you need. For Shatter.
Okay. Fair.
So
okay,
I don't think no. I think if they add a mode, they'll just start doing this by default. That's something that they feel like needs it, but I don't think this needs it.
Steel Rock, well, not Steel Rock.
I mean, you could add it for the nodes. I don't think Steel Rock needs it for the nodes.
Yeah,
personally. This also has the teleporters to go directly middle whenever an objective is about to occur or is currently
fucking
happening.
God.
And you have invincibility when you land, so nobody can camp the teleporter and just knock you off immediately when you get there. Which I fully expected to be a thing until I saw that you got invincibility. So there's that. But yeah, that's really just when objectives in the center are spawning. So if they're not like always active.
Yeah.
And I like that because the map feeling too big, especially going mid, like going up.
Yeah. And like I said at the beginning, like, hey, go mid. Okay, I'll be there in like a minute and a half.
Yeah.
Like from like east bumfuck of the map. Yeah, I'll be there in a minute and a half, and we got to climb the fucking tower to get up there and everything. Yeah, and we got teleporters. Thank God.
Then he just quickly like ran around the map and did a few of the things that he showed off. There's not really much to take away from that, but the big thing is that he showed off a quality of life that we actually only found out about yesterday. Again, in the Famitsu interview. You can now, your mount cast is no longer interrupted by your actual movement, so you can cast your mount while moving, which means you don't need to stop and use your mount anymore.
And this isn't just for PvP. This is in, everything.
He made sure to clarify that so people didn't. He's like, wait, shit, I'm in a PvP zone. It's not only for PvP.
Yeah, it's not only for PvP. It's out in the wild, everything. Like, so yeah, you can run and queue up your mount and there. And yeah, that's a really good quality of life. I've been waiting for years. He
even says we finally did it after 10 years.
Yeah. I feel like Yoshi P is kind of poking the bear. It's kind of fucked up. He's poking the bear there a little bit.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if you want to be the one making that joke, Yoshi P.
Yeah.
People would be like,
don't poke the bear.
It's not funny when you do it. Yeah. Also, speaking of quality of life, we can jump ahead a little bit because it's in the same vein. Sprint in Sanctuaries now has a bonus effect called Jog.
Jogging. Yes.
Yeah. After your sprint runs out, you get sort of like a temporary like Peloton level speed. And it's going to make traversing in areas with shorter runs a little bit better. Works in Sanctuaries out in the world too. We don't know if it just works outside of combat or if it works specifically in Sanctuaries. Because in the interviews, it said safe areas / that's the Japanese translation for Sanctuary.
So your hubs, your hubs basically
the Aetherites.
The Aetherites mainly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, like, I mean, great. Honestly, I use fucking
yeah.
Aetheryte. I use Aetherites to get around, so it's really not a bother to me.
Well, it's for wherever you want to make like a short run and not have to mount up, which is now not that big a deal because you can mount, but also in cities where you literally can't mount up.
Can't mount. Yeah, exactly.
So it's just a nice little quality of life, especially think more so for like a player who's brand new to the game, who has to do a lot of running around through the towns and the early quests and whatnot. It is, while the max level players are totally down for it, the effective use for a new player is immediately appreciated and bumps up the speed of how quickly they can get around and do things a lot better. So I think you're going to see a lot of new players really enjoying that, especially before they get them out at level 20. So, and then there's a couple of other quality of lives that they went into later, but I'll wait till we get to those naturally.
Yeah.
They showed off the Tombstone gear, and it's all Final Fantasy.
Okay. All right. Here's the thing. Yeah. I get that this is Final Fantasy 9 coded. I get it. I am not a fan. I think it is the most mad fucking gear I've ever seen for Tombstone gear. I am not the hugest fan. I mean, like the very first one, we saw it's Steiner, of course. Yeah, we get
honestly, I look at that obviously I know it's Steiner, but I see like John Dark Souls.
That's what the fucking Discord said. That's exactly what they
did.
They
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, like in the reaction, they spelled out Dark Souls. I'm like, oh,
this man is John Dark Soul. Steiner's the chosen undead. Unironically.
Yeah, and everything. And then like okay, you get more FF9 coded gear, and then we got Zidane at home.
Dude, it's no. My chat came up with the best nickname for that Zidane. Timu Zidane.
Oh my god. Great value to Zidane. Great value Zidane. Timu Zidane.
Dude, Timu Zidane, I was like, yo, that's all it is from now on. That's Timu Zidane. I can't unhear that or can't unread that. So
yeah,
100%. Yeah. I actually like, what's interesting is that Freya, the Dragoon from 9, is not the Dragoon armor.
Yeah.
She is the Fizz range.
But that's armor. Freya's lance. That's Freya's lance, right?
Yeah. That is Freya's lance. Yeah. That is correct. But it was still a weird thing. And I don't recognize Amarant's gear when it's not his goofy ass wearing it. I honestly thought that was Marcus for a brief moment because of the bandana and more so than Amarant, but but honestly, I mean, I'm okay with everything. The thing I don't like is is Caster. Caster is the worst one by far.
Right.
But even the white mage one doesn't look like Garnet in the early section of the game. Like, I don't know if that's what they were going for, but I certainly don't see it. It reminds me more of the clerics and Clara.
That's the scholar book, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a scholar book on the first one, and then the Picto's right below it. It reminds me more.
What the fuck is that Picto?
I know. I get that it's a palette swap. It's just not a good one.
It is. Again, I know a lot of people love 9, and I'm not trying to shit on you as Final Fantasy 9 lovers, but God, this is the most mad Tombstone gear I've ever seen in years. I have never felt so strongly against Tombstone gear. Like, usually Tombstone gear, I'm like, it has a means to an end. It looks okay. This, I'm like, bro, this looks so mad.
Getting glammed over immediately.
Yep.
I might not. I listen. The only reason it's going to largely depend on who gets one of the other gear sets later. But I might. I'll keep on Freya's set as Fizz ranged. I'll rock the best set here.
Yeah,
I'm good to go. I already know that's my set. So, then we went in game for Cosmic Exploration, which ended up being a lot more interesting than I thought it was going to be. So, okay, sounds like you're really excited.
Oh, you know I am. from the start, everything like leaving out the zone for a second, like the just simple aesthetics, like the UI, everything looks so fucking clean. The tablet, the little pop-ups, like the little, mission pop-ups, everything like it means so little in the grand scheme of things, but it just looks so fucking clean. And then the actual, environment, like I don't mind. We're on the moon. I get it. Yeah. And the actual, content itself, because the first things he pretty much shows off, one, Cosmo Sprint, it's a pretty much infinite sprint.
It's the Island Sanctuary sprint.
Yeah, basically. The Cosmo missions are basically leave quests. Yeah, 3 minute leave quests, I'd say.
Yeah, they're like the one was 2.5 minutes. Those are like the most basic ones. He says I can't imagine they get that much more involved, but still.
No. And then the mission, the mission to stop the final days. Of course, that was
obviously we know just to put the dev command in now. We should have just had Yoshi P stop the final days, and we wouldn't have had to do all of Endwalker.
yeah. We didn't have the fight topic EX. No. We just needed the fucking dev command. Sure, that would have been it. We wouldn't have had to fight Xenos or anything. Just dev.
Yeah, that's it. Honestly, I can't believe you skipped past one of the biggest things that I saw for her. You just went right past it. You went right to the content from it. That
what?
It has its own separate inventory. So Island Sanctuary did this, mind you.
Yeah, it did.
And that's why it's here, because they said that they learned a lot from Island Sanctuary. But when I think back to Diadem and how much I hated my inventory during Diadem, I'm so glad they took of all the things they took from Island Sanctuary, they took that correct decision.
And okay, yeah, I did skip ahead. This available to level 10 at level 10. So
yeah.
So you pretty much already done all your crafters, correct?
No, I've been waiting for the crafting tribe. Yeah. I had no reason to do them all right away, because you don't need them all to repair and to meld anymore. So I don't need to do them all right away.
Now I can't maybe miss this, but I didn't see, and I was kind of looking through after the live letter to see maybe I missed it. Is there a leveling aspect to this?
Yeah, you can enter at level. So when you finish the leave quest, it says EXP pops up as one of the rewards.
Okay, good.
So you can absolutely you can level there. Mm-hmm. Okay, it also syncs your level, so like you don't like, even though you're level 10, yeah, you don't have the skills to like do anything as good, but you can still do pretty much everything as a level 10.
Now, yeah, and see that's the thing. Like, and he said like level 10s can compete for the what is it, the star? What do they call it? The star.
Yes,
what was the name of the?
You can win
star contributor
for star contributor.
Yeah. He said, yeah, you can compete at level 10. Like how much though? How much with like that little skills? How much can you compete?
Probably not enough, but I mean, we don't know entirely.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, it's going to be another leveling content, and it seems to largely be using. It's funny enough. It's using systems from the original Diadem before it was a crafting zone to use it in a crafting zone, because it's using Diadem and Bozia mechanics, oddly enough, inside of a fucking crafting zone and gathering zone. So the leave quest returning is kind of like a whatever thing. We don't know what the limitations on that are. I assume it wouldn't use your actual leave allowances, and they're just kind of like repeatable missions that you can spam if you're interested in
I would assume so. Like it's completely, separate. Yeah.
Right. Then you mentioned the emergency mission, the final days, which we didn't actually get to see what that entails, but we know that it is like a zone-wide thing. And we also have the mech ops, which is like almost like Bozia, like it's more like a mix of like Bozia duels with just gathering content. Effectively, 5 players with tickets gets selected to be like have super gathering.
Yeah, I was gonna ask how you felt about that, like, because again, it did remind me of duels, and like this is currency that everybody can get. Like they can get the currency, the tickets to enter, and then if they don't get selected, they get refunded the ticket. Great.
Right.
One, for an entire zone, for an entire server, is 5 enough? Because I feel like
they did say in the interview, if you do not get selected, and maybe this was just one of the translations being that there would be some system to give you a better chance of being selected a subsequent.
So pity, yeah.
The notoriety that we had inside of Bozia is basically the same system. On top of getting your actual ticket back, so you know you're not at a loss here. And,
but either way, do you feel like 5 robots is enough?
I honestly shocked they did 5. I really thought they were just going to do 1, but it is zone wide and it's only 5 minutes long. So I suspect mech ops will be pretty common.
Okay.
So it's not going to be like duels where there's just like 3 and they can only happen every 2 hours.
Right.
Unless you're like hopping zones and shit. Not to mention there's no prep. You just get selected for the mech and then the mech even flies you to the excavation.
To the place. Yeah.
That's pretty autopilots there.
Yeah.
So that's good. And they said there's a couple of different mech op objectives, not just like the one we saw where they were blasting the over aspected crystals. Yeah, honestly, it just looks like a lot of fun. And they're even, you know what, I was shocked they were bringing back the star contributor thing. I really thought we weren't going to have a competitive ranking system in any manner.
But I do like the way that they're doing it in comparison to the firmament.
Yes.
The fact that, you know, it's a 24-hour thing, and, you know, actively I think what would the be 7 holograms at a time, or what?
Correct. Yeah. So
7 or 14.
Well, it's 14 days that you're a star contributor if you win, which
Right.
only every other day a star contributor can be named.
So 7.
So 7, yeah. So there's 7 holograms.
Yeah.
You can go like /C pose them, basically, like change their standing pose,
Yeah.
and it just takes whatever glam you have. And yeah, that's their replacement to it. It's something that lasts a day, then there's a 1-day break. Lasts a day, there's a 1-day break.
1 day. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's something that is not as permanent as Saint of the Firmament. It's not like something that will go away, which is in line with what they said. They said they wanted people to have the ability to experience basically a similar level of quality the entire time. And we didn't fully understand what that meant. Like if that meant they were going to be losing the aspect of like what it's like to build the base or whatnot. And we kind of still don't know as far as I'm concerned, because they didn't really talk about it here. But being somebody who wasn't around for the start of, you know, Ishgard, you will never experience the ranking system of Diadem and Ishgard ever, of the Firmament. So this kind of keeps it around. And as more zones release and as more time goes on, if there's any achievements associated with it, you can assume that there's at least some chance if you wanted to go out of your way to obtain it. Yes, you'd have to still probably obsess over it for a full day, but you have some chance of getting involved at some point. Just depends on how many bots there are.
There's that too. Yeah, I don't think, well, let me rephrase that. There are some people who are crazy enough to go 24 hours. I'm not one of them. Yeah, Happy asked me in the beginning, like, hey, Sly, are you gonna 24-hour this shit? Hell no, I'm too fucking old for this shit. I got shit to do outside of the game.
I might do it at some point, in all honesty.
A 24-hour fucking
Okay, there's one thing stopping me, Sly. One thing, only one thing.
What's that?
If I stream it, somebody's gonna see I'm streaming and be like, I'm gonna fucking ruin his plan right now.
You know what? I'll go ahead and submit this in video history. If the same day you do it, I'll do it. We'll do it as a team on different fucking servers. I'm really gonna regret that decision. I'll pre-buy food and water and everything, and I'll be okay.
The problem is I'm not someone who can sit for 24 hours. So, and every moment I'm not sitting is a moment somebody else is getting ahead of me.
Oh no, I'm gonna get up and stretch my legs and everything.
Then you're gonna fucking lose. Sit your ass down.
No.
Get one of those like $30 like ellipticals for under your.
Oh God, those things.
Listen, you don't want to get a blood
in the
clot.
other room. I would rather use that shit.
Well, then you better fucking pull it in for while you're doing it.
Oh God.
Listen, Sly.
But
I'm trying to keep you healthy through this. All right.
Besides the Mech Ops, we did get the Cosmic Fortunes.
Yes.
The return of the Kupo, the Kupo Fortunes from the Firmament, and the rewards seem pretty good. We're getting a new die apparently, and we don't know if this is the only new die we're getting, but we might be getting more. I don't know, but.
I think I think there were 2 total new dies that they showed because the second one also had a die that I'm pretty sure was brand new.
Okay. And then we did see some mounts and everything. And again, Yoshi P said, totally not rigged. Totally not rigged, even though he
jackpots twice in a row. Yeah.
Jackpots twice in a row. Yeah. Totally not rigged. Totally not doing dev things. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. That's his victory stance right there.
There's
even like a bonus game, like and one of the rewards, like the mount was from the bonus game in particular. So you have to get the roll twice technically to get that. But I love little features like this. Honestly, my Gamba sense, this is the only reason I have to do cosmic exploration as far as I'm concerned. I just want to spin roulette wheels, man, just over and over again. I will also say that I bet there's a Pterodon equivalent here.
Oh yeah.
So might be a little busy.
Oh yeah, we are.
I'm never doing the Pterodon, but I might do this. We'll see.
So we of course get 2 currencies from this. We get the Cosmo credits for the rewards, and then the Lunar credits for the fortunes, and of course the robots to be a part of the Mech Ops.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's yeah, I mean, that's what else is there to really say? I mean, it's just it looks good. And like we've talked about with update cadence, we now know the entire update cadence to it, and it's 1 star every match. I'd be willing to bet they add like maybe a feature or 2 here or there as we're doing the other zones, things that are more representative of the stars where we're going. At the very least, the missions will probably be mildly different. Not to mention the actual environments. And so, I mean, I'm not a crafter or a gatherer, but I see that they're trying to make this appeal to non-crafters and gatherers at the same time while allowing you to level crafters and gatherers inside of it. So, I think that's working, at least for me.
Right.
And hopefully it's good. It looks it's better than Island Sanctuary already, I can tell you. And
yeah, it looks on paper. It looks definitely
on paper. Yes, I should say that. And not only that, but like Island Sanctuary, the instance, while an instance, has no timer. So, thumbs up for that. I think, honestly, the big thing with Cosmic Exploration is something we did experience with Diadem, and something that was, by nature was automatically going to be lacking from Island Sanctuary, is that sometimes tasks in a game can be very simple, and the task itself is not the thing that matters most. It is seeing the other people around you doing said same task, or cooperating, even if they're playing independently, cooperating on the same task. And I think that's the biggest thing that didn't exist in Endwalker, that exact feeling. And so I think no matter how much it effectively boils down to you are doing leaves and effectively crafting and gathering fates, I think that all it needs to be is effectively a social hub where everyone's kind of working on similar objectives, and that's kind of good enough. Like, could it be more exceptional? Almost certainly. Will that mean that later down the line when it's not popping, it's not maybe as interesting unless you want specific rewards? Absolutely. but I can't knock a piece of content entirely just because it's not always going to be popping. Not this style of content, at least. It's not like Delubrum, where you queue in, wait 15 minutes, get in alone, and you're like, guess I'm fucking dead. This is like people go to Diadem and work on the Pterodon alone all the time because there's something they want out of it, and it's achievable. I just hope it's a lesson learned for the future. That just sometimes having something be social is all you really need it to be without the activities necessarily being highly difficult or even that unique in the first place.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, and then the rest of this is just like how the star contributor is actually, this is all the stuff we already went over with the holograms and
cosmic
everything.
tools, which again we all know that
I'll make them.
For glam, there'll be good glam, but there won't be pentamil. So if you're really looking for stats and everything, pentamil is going to be your bet. But I mean, the ones they showed off, don't really look that shiny.
It's going to go live with the wrong titles and like everything, isn't it? I guess I'll find out in a moment. Yep, that's going to be live with all the wrong titles. All right, State of the Realm. Let me do that real quick. And hopefully that is A-OK. Fixed.
All right, Chad, are we good? Fixed? Fixed. So, we're good.
Fixed. So the technical issue there, for everyone who is wondering, is for some reason a second instance of OBS had opened in the background automatically without me doing anything because I'm not messing with any of the settings. And it was just conflicting with the main one. That's it.
Yeah.
That was what happened. I have no idea why, but that is exactly what happened. Just OBS doing OBS things. So I'll edit those both together. Not a big deal. Allow us to continue on. So you were talking about the patch cadence and then said stop. So let's
we were talking about the occult crescent, and in the beginning of the podcast we were talking about the patch cadence.
Yes.
And how people felt like occult crescent should have been one of the earlier forms of content. The only issue with that is there's no leveling attached to this. It will be only attached to Deep Dungeon, which is coming out later. So with this being, isolated content per se, how would this have been a solution? I mean, we didn't know this at the time. We didn't know that. I mean, well, did we know that?
I'm not sure I understand what you're asking, but I've also been awake for far too long.
Okay. What I'm asking is, like, did we know that, like, Deep Dungeon was getting the leveling aspect beforehand?
Deep Dungeon always has a leveling aspect, whereas exploration zones were 50-50. One did and one didn't. So it was a toss-up about. Yeah.
Okay. So my whole thing is, like, what did people think this was going to solve? If this is just strictly isolated content, yeah, it's something to do, but at the end of it, you level the phantom jobs, you get your knowledge level up, it's done. What reason is there to come back other than the challenge of Fork Tower?
Sly, let me ask you one question.
Okay.
What is more popular, Eureka or Bozia?
Yes.
The answer is Eureka. Eureka doesn't have a leveling component to it other than the elemental level.
I kind of disagree with that. I mean, I disagree because, people can use Bozia to level. Like, people can take their, like, low-ass level jobs and just go into Bozia and just fucking, turn off their brain, kill shit, and call it a day.
And that's why I feel like it has do Eureka. Just saying. Leveling isn't the only reason why someone would want to do something. Eureka is a mix of things. Some people really just enjoy it. Some people want to complete everything in there and are more compelled to do so. Eureka has proven almost all aspects of itself to be more, as chat puts it, evergreen. Whether that be because of buns, whether that be because of rare drops that people can sell, whether that be because they just genuinely enjoy it. Pretty much every piece of Eureka, other than the fact you can't level in there, which I will be clear, Stormblood had a massive issue when Deep Dungeon was the only alternative leveling method. It is regularly considered the worst.
Which is why I'm kind of worried about this Deep Dungeon too, because I fucking hated using Deep Dungeon for leveling. Again, in the grand scheme of things, I would actually use Basha as opposed to Deep Dungeon, because we're repeating the same.
Bozier ran into the opposite issue where Bozier was too good for too many fucking levels, Sly.
But I would still take that.
I know, but I fucking hated it. So I totally get that, but I feel like within Final Fantasy 14, we are at a point where they shovel so much experience through activities that I'm not as concerned. The big problem with Stormblood is there's not really, the only thing you can realistically do is Heaven on High or the dungeons. Here, that's kind of the case, but we've gotten so much more available to us as players by this point that it doesn't really end up being as much of an issue. Even the amount of experience we simply receive from, for example, the Pelu Pelu is so significantly higher that I don't think it's as much of a concern here. However, I do think it will be a worse leveling range than both of its previous leveling ranges.
Oh, agreed.
And not to mention, we do have a secret bonus method for Dawn Trail of leveling. Aglaya. Aglaya spam is goated to all fuck. And I personally don't think that's going to stop, because people will keep hearing it's the goated method and people will probably keep queuing for it. But between the Pelus, hunts, Aglaya, usual roulettes, I'm even hoping that people really start to realize how valuable the frontline roulette is for leveling, because it is insanely valuable.
God. Yes. People are like, that's free chicken. That is the free chicken.
It is the free chicken, indeed. So yeah, it's But
yeah, my whole point. Yeah, but my whole point was that, like, for people who were saying that, hey, we should have got a Cult Crescent first. Well, okay, we got it. Well,
it's not for the leveling. It's because it's content.
No. Yeah, it's content. I get it. But once you and people would have digested this really quickly. Let's call a spade. People would have burned through this, and the content drop still would have happened. So my thing is, like, it wouldn't have, like, to me, in my opinion, in my most humblest of opinions, it wouldn't have made a difference if Occult Crescent was first. If it was like 7.1.
Let's be clear about something, Sly. Any previous patch that simply has an extra thing is better than what we got.
I mean, agreed.
And
but
this is
still, there would have been.
People do Eureka years down the line. I can't stress this enough that it is.
But the fall off. But you got to admit, there is a fall off.
There is a fall off.
Are you doing
I finished everything in Eureka, and I still sometimes go back in. I'm gonna go do BA before this comes out, because I find because BA is fun. I can make Gil, and I could. Just
BA is a completely different monster.
Except that it's not, because it's become so accessible through Discords that, it's the clear rate of BA is through the fucking roof, because people can pretty freely join.
And again, not saying that. Again, I was saying the challenge would be one of the only reasons to stay. It's a fun challenge and everything. Great. Sure. Other than that, queuing in for Fort Tower, which I would, it's part of the content, but I would separate it, because again, you do Bosja, and then there's BA. BA is what you're going to go into a Discord for. Fort Tower is what you're going to go into a Discord for. You're not going to go into a Discord for fucking
But it's still part of it.
You're not gonna go
just because it's harder doesn't mean you can't separate the two. The point is that it creates an evergreen feeling for the content, which is why it's important, because we have a forked tower here and we have another equivalent to it in the second zone that we'll be getting later.
In the second zone, yes.
Which means that they're basically trying to create double the evergreen effect. They're trying to double that effect, basically. Yeah. Also, we don't really know
and
about
hopefully
like
that will
boxes or the other rewards. Like, all you have to look at is the sheer fact that Eureka and its design philosophy has proven more evergreen than most other content in the game. And replicating a piece of that and presenting it earlier in the expansion would have a profound effect on the activities available to the average casual player. Because that's the big thing. We got chaotic, we got ultimate, we got all these really high-end things that doesn't necessarily appeal to the average player. And I'm not saying this necessarily will either, but it's more likely to overlap with the average player than
the thing is there's
the
an
crazy
endpoint
stuff.
There is a endpoint where you have done everything in this.
But that's going to happen no matter what, Sly. But the point
that's going to happen no matter what.
The point is, if in point one you have an extra activity that has some long form content, don't forget about relics in here either. Whether you're making one or all, if you're making all of them, you're going to be really fucking busy. But like that's more than what was there, and it's part of what was promised in the first place. So no matter what, and also that frees the schedule up to maybe have even a third zone or some other activity. So the earlier you get it, the more likely you are to get a better patch cadence throughout the expansion and to have long form content that's available to the average player earlier, which is more likely to be received better. I'm personally of the opinion they'd probably be better off doing something like Cosmic earlier.
Yeah, agreed. Like, and that's what I was going to say. Like, Cosmic would have been,
but anything. But Sly, anything would be better.
Yeah, anything would be better than nothing. But yeah, like I would say Cosmic first, and then Crescent to kind of tide it over. And then by the time people have digested Crescent and they said I've done everything, yada yada yada. I've done Fork Tower. Yeah, I'm done with that. Like, what do the next bit of content here? So rather than front load, something that does have an endpoint.
Everything has Cosmic, an endpoint.
Yeah. Less so in Cosmic than in Crest.
I think Cosmic has more of an endpoint because you genuinely, like, once the zone's built out, you have the mount and the minion, like, it's the same deal unless you want to make every Cosmic tool, and even then there's less Cosmic tools than there are relics. So unless you are very specifically trying to constantly get Star Contributor, I would say it's less evergreen, but that's why it's updated more frequently. And again, the big thing is by getting Cosmic earlier, you get more updates to it, because if they were to follow the same patch cadence, and so we'd have a 5th star, which that's what the other reason, because I don't know that we'd necessarily get a 3rd zone for this if it released earlier.
There's another thing that you're not taking into consideration for both.
But here's the thing. I don't care about which is where and whatnot. Like, I agree both things being sooner. But the point is neither of them are there. And that was the problem.
I mean, we can speak on this all the live long day. It's not going to change the fact that we had nothing to do for months. It's not going to change that fact. But I was just saying, for people who argued, like, hey, Crescent, Crescent should have been first. Like, there's an endpoint to it. But both will have a money-making side. I just think Cosmic has the better chance for profit than the Crescent.
For profit, see, now there's the truth. There it is. That's what we were getting to the bottom line the whole time.
No, that wasn't even the bottom. I'm just saying both actually do have a chance for profit. It's just that Cosmic is
Corpa. Got it.
Oh God.
Oh, did the category get messed up when I restarted? Yeah, I'm not too surprised. Yeah, unfortunately, we had to restart the stream, and it redid my settings to like earlier in the stream. So everything is all messed up on the stream side of things. Yeah, I can update them real quick. There we go. Yeah. Anyway, the point is, Occult Crescent, we really got to just see most of the things we already knew, but we also got a few new details that I think people were really wondering if it was closer to Eureka or closer to Bosia. And the answer is, it is absolutely closer to Eureka in design.
I'd say it's a in between.
I think as soon as you add in the leveling, the de-leveling, and an elemental level equivalent, you have the only thing that it has from Bosia at this point are the lore notes and critical engagements. Everything else was a Eureka component, and then it has its own thing with the phantom jobs.
Okay, so let's go into it, because I definitely have some things to say about certain things. But yeah, let's go into it.
All right, so as we already covered, it's not leveling content. You do need to be level 100 to go into it. And everything else is the same as the other exploration zones. You talk to an NPC and they zone you in. 72 player instances. That's like Bosia instead of Eureka. And then when in a party, everyone joins at the same time. You know?
Right.
Then we have knowledge level, which in all essence is elemental level. If you've
elemental
done Eureka,
level.
it is effectively just your character being level 100 matters for what skills you have access to, like by default. But being level 100 is useless when you're up against something that's knowledge level 10 and you're knowledge level 1. So it is effectively, you're starting from scratch in terms of a leveling process again.
Yeah.
You can lose experience by dying after level 5 and releasing. If you are resurrected, you will not lose experience. And also, being that you won't lose any EXP before knowledge level 5. If you're very good at sneaking around, you can actually go to every Aetheryte right away. There's no zones like Bosia where you have to progress, and there's no level restriction on the Aetherites like Eureka. You can go to all of them right away, so maybe you want to go before there's even a chance you could die. It's up to you if you want to be able to get around the map quicker. Then he went into the zone and started showing off the various systems that are there. And we started getting into the phantom job stuff. There are a total of 13 phantom jobs, freelancer plus 12 others. You'll start with 3 of the others and have to unlock the other 9 as you progress and explore.
And for the most part, these jobs are based off of 5 and the defunct GBA 5.
Yeah, so we know that Cannoneer, which is originally from a bonus job exclusive to the GBA version, which was then re-released and effectively defunct on most platforms. It's very interesting to see, because not only is Cannoneer a confirmed job, they used its icon. They even chose the Cannoneer gear set, which makes you look like Captain fucking Crunch when you put it in Final Fantasy.
Oh, I'm so glad you saw. I'm so glad you saw that too. High five. Great.
Yeah. There you go. Look at the elbows.
Yeah.
Which by the way, absolutely means you should expect Necromancer, which is one of the other ones from the GBA version. It's Oracle, Necromancer, Cannoneer, and Gladiator, I believe, is the last one. That sounds right. No, that's something like that. Yeah, no, I think that's right. I think it's Gladiator. I would expect to see all 4 of them at some point, not all at once, but at some point. I think Necromancer they're going to save. They're going to save that for close to the end, because Necromancer was like after you've beaten post game. Like literally, it's after you beat the super boss of the GBA version. That's like exclusive to that. So it is the I've done everything.
So besides those 4, freelancer, obviously, we don't know the other few jobs, right? So we don't know whether we're getting, the base, the pretty base Final Fantasy jobs, or are we getting? I mean, well, we do get Time Mage in this, right? Yeah, we do get
Time Mage is one of the 4 right there. Yes. We don't know if it's one of the first 3, but we know it's one of those 4. So we have, I think,
Bard.
Yeah, I think we have 5, and I guess if you want to include Cannoneer, 6 confirmed for the first zone. So we have Knight, which is one of the ones here. Monk, which we already knew also. Bard, which is listed here, and we knew it from before. Time Mage, and actually from the interviews, we know we have Chemist as well. Now, not only do we know we have Chemist, but we also know that Chemist actually uses items and that you can buy items in the zone to use chemists' abilities with. They said that there's like a really expensive item that you could use effectively as a nuke on opponents, but it's like 300,000 gil for one. So, very curious to see what that item is.
So that's one, two, three.
Oh, also, one of the armor sets is Berserker as well, mind you. One of the armor sets they showed off later is Berserker. So I would contemplate that as being confirmed.
If you had to hazard a guess on as to the remaining jobs, I have two jobs earmarked. One of them being Mime and the other being Mystic.
I think Mystic Knight's not in the first thing. I think they'll save Mystic Knight.
Okay.
I think Mime would be in. Actually, I think Mime would be at the same one as Necromancer. I think they're gonna save those for way later. I would literally expect every GBA Final Fantasy V job to show up at this point. Now, the only question there is Beastmaster. Beastmaster and Blue Mage. Yeah. No, I think Geo's going to happen. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I genuinely think that maybe honestly, even Blue Mage and Beastmaster, they've already said lore-wise, these are like lost memories of like old iterations of jobs. So we can assume that maybe they're even busted up job crystals that kind of are like attuned to the island in a sense. So they could do whatever they want. Geo was also one of the ones they showed when they said end more jobs. That is one of the ones they showed. I'm assuming that means it's going to be here, but I wasn't 100% sure. Yeah. So I think that works fine. And we got to see a few like Knight has prayer and cover, and Monk has kick and chakra, which these are all Final Fantasy V skills. So they are keeping to that. Time Mage even has Comet. The same PvP one as the same one here. Longer cooldown here. But honestly, all the actions are just one thing. Like, yeah, we're curious about those and how to mix and match them. But one of the big questions was about actually using them, because most people assumed that we would get the dual action and only be able to use two. I was definitely among that too. I thought for sure they were just going to have you select two actions at most. But that's not what they're doing. They're expanding that bonus hotbar that's specifically for duty actions, so that you can actually rotate between all 5 actions that you might have on any individual job. And if you want to, you can drag and drop them directly onto your hotbar as well. So that covers that. I genuinely didn't think they were going to do that. I thought they were just going to stick exclusively to the 2 slots and but no, they're going the extra mile on that one. Even some of the options that they have, they showed, for example, like, if you're just using the bonus duty action bar, you can have it so that if you activate a skill, it goes back to whatever your base skill is. So that way you can quickly go back to like whatever skill you're spamming the most. Oh, they did also mention Samurai potentially having Kai 10. That's another one that we know is here. Man, little did you know when they called it
just Lost Dagger.
Lost Kai 10, they really meant it. All right.
Oh, man. Oh.
So, yeah, it's already looking like, it feels far more considerate of the content we're doing and far less of a, hey, we did this before, so we'll just do it again.
Right.
Which is a good feeling to have, like, even just seeing the content here. There's a lot more effort put into it than anyone gave them credit for, which, to be fair, is not necessarily, like, we should expect the better ideas. We just can't. Like, we should have expected that if they have more than 2 actions, maybe they could make a system that allows you to do it, right? Nobody did, because they haven't shown the propensity to do it before, so why would I put that false expectation on myself? But they did, so gotta give them credit for that. Other than that, like, the actual zone, again, a decent mix of Eureka and Bozia, mostly Eureka, because you will be grouping up to level and just kill mobs like Eureka.
Yeah.
That was contentious in Eureka, Sly, because there was an issue where you needed to be very close in your elemental level in order to effectively group up. So if you were level like 19 Anonymous and your friend was level 1, you told them to go fuck themselves. I'll see you when you're actually get on my level, and then we'll play together. Which wasn't very well received, especially in Pagos. But you know what the piece of feedback people had on that was?
What?
Level syncing. something that, by the way, Final Fantasy XI had when Eureka came out. So it was really weird that they didn't have it, considering it was modeled after 11. So, yeah. This is, they have it this time. They have level syncing this time.
Good.
Yeah. So if you're max level and your friend just started, you can still group up and work together and play together. And you will not be nerfing them, and they will not be nerfing you. An important bit is that usually in this type of content, EXP curve goes up, but EXP acquired stays the same.
Which is weird because, like, again, when you talk about like stuff like chaining, OG chaining served two purposes. One, elemental level. That's basically what you were chaining for, was elemental level.
Right.
Two, you were trying to spawn something. Like, if you weren't leveling, you were trying to, like, you weren't intentionally chaining, but you were trying to spawn an Notorious.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
there are going to be ideal leveling spots for sure because of that here. Where people will definitely gravitate towards certain mobs. But I guess the real question we don't have in this whole formula is how much do NMs, or in this case, critical engagements or fates, because they're just calling them fates this time. It's fates and critical engagements. Very simple.
Right.
We don't know how much those actually reward in terms of EXP, because that led down the path of people doing trains. But the reason why it led down that path is because you couldn't level sync. So everyone just said, well, just go to do all the NMs to level sync. You know, in Bosia, literally that was the big thing. You just went objective to objective and did it together. So I want to know how much they've separated the idea of doing one or the other. The currencies seem to imply they're pretty dedicated to like saying, hey, if you want this currency, you have to just kill the monsters. You have to go chain monsters with a party. If you want this item, you have to go specifically want to do critical engagements and fates. So.
Now, one thing I want to say about critical engagement, the change that they made to critical engagements, as far as like you having to be there in the circle, I do dislike. I hate it.
You know why I like it? I have a reason for liking it.
Okay, but you remember in Bajja for critical engagements, it's like, hey, there's this critical engagement going on. You want to be a part of it? Sure. Press a button. All you had to do.
Right. The reason why I actually like it in this particular case is because it firmly cements the idea that you are adhering to that is the thing you are here to do. You cannot just,
as opposed to queuing for a critical engagement.
The way that people generally do queuing for critical engagements is they're just pissing off doing something else, join in the last 5 seconds, and then they're like, everyone would use it as an excuse to min-max the non-critical engagements, myself included. Effectively, you drew out the time as much as possible and just kind of hit objectives around the map that were not that objective. And that would often fuck the people doing critical engagements if they weren't doing them the same way. Because they would exit and everything would complete, or you would have completed it while they were in it. Also, people would just AFK in base and do nothing and be fucking useless around the map. They wouldn't help spawn critical engagements. They wouldn't help spawn any of the regular. They just fucked off and did nothing the entire time. Same with Eureka, in all honesty. It's like been a core problem. At the very least, they have to literally get off their ass and go to the fucking thing if they want to do it now. Can they technically sit in base, teleport, run over? Sure. But they got to get off their ass and actually fucking do it. So it might behoove them to get out there instead and actually do it.
Well, okay. Yeah, and I get that. The only other issue is, you are out actually, let's say you are out actually doing something. You're not just at base. Like, for me, I was out doing shit, and this popped up. I wasn't doing the shit that allowed that to pop up, but I want to be a part of it. But I was doing something else, not at base. I was just, going and killing other shit. Sure, I still want to be a part of it, but I'm in like West Bumfuck and the engagement is all the way like southeast. And I have to like do Smokey and the Bandit eastbound and down just to get all the way down there and maybe not make it. That's the only thing. That's the only thing I fucking hate.
Generally speaking, if you are doing something else, then the critical engagements, you have to accept you can't be greedy to want to have your cake and eat it too.
Oh my.
You have to effectively
But we have the cake and we have the ice cream too.
Yeah, but motherfuckers, no, this is, you know what it's like? People, what you're describing is people want to, they go trick-or-treating and they see take one and they just fucking pour the whole thing in. That's exactly what you're describing. That's what everyone wants to do, and that's what they're trying to avoid. They want you to like commit to like, oh, use return, go back to the aetherite, teleport to another one, run over to it. Like, they give you enough time to do that. And we can probably assume there might be an item that takes you back to base automatically as well. Like something like the lodestones from Bosia.
Okay.
They really want you committing to the idea of doing something, like being in the zone for a specific reason. And quite frankly, that's also true for Forked Tower, because you need an item called a cipher in order to...
You need an item for the Forked Tower. And again, this was good. I still to this day think the portals were like the worst fucking idea for.
I'm still a little worried about this one. It's better than the portals, I think, because you don't technically need a cipher to get in, and if more than 48 people have a cipher, then you could still technically get screwed out of your spot. And because it's the chief goal, it's still a question.
Does it refund the cipher if you use it to get in and don't?
So
like, how does it work?
I would assume if you're one of the 16 people who activates the node, then your cipher's gone. Because they seem to imply that those 16 people are the ones even opening it. The remaining people are all getting zoned in, regardless of whether you have a cipher. But it starts taking your cipher into account if you're competing up against other people. I would assume it would consume your cipher if you have one, even if you're not the one who opened it. But I think those 16 people are losing their cipher no matter what.
Okay, so it's the remainder that like potentially aren't getting their cipher. It's just taking.
It's potential. I would assume you're going to lose your cipher if you go in and you have a cipher, even if it's choosing. I would assume you're losing your cipher. And let me tell you why. Because the system is still largely based off Final Fantasy 11, a lot of types of content in 11, everyone needs an entry item. I assume that, and it will consume it even if you're not the one who like used it to technically open the instance. It'll still consume it upon going into the instance. I assume they're going to go for that same idea here, because otherwise, if you have 48 people with a cipher and only 16 have to use it, then you can technically just hoard the Forked Tower with 3 separate entries, because it'd be 16, 32, 48. And I don't know that they want you to be able to do that with the same 48 people, to just hoard the entries for that. Because I'd assume that once a group is in the Forked Tower, that instance nobody else can go into the Forked Tower in that instance. Because there's only 24 spare people left at that point to begin with. So like it wouldn't make sense. Right?
Yeah.
So, I don't think they want people back to back to back, because BA also extended your instance timer as well, I'm pretty sure. So actually, I don't think BA did. I think Castrum did. I'd have to double check. I know there was something where it extended your instance timer to make sure you didn't get timed out, but I don't remember if BA did that, because most of the time we entered BA with a full instance, whereas Castrum and Dalriada, we didn't. But I'm almost certain Castrum and Dalriada both extended the instance timer if you entered when there wasn't a lot of time left. But could be misremembering on that front. But yeah, this is something I need to see in action, because I'm still nervous about spots getting stolen, like with the portals on Earth. Eventually that won't matter, because like you even said, it's not a leveling zone, so you won't have kind of like the people will be coordinating content around it, and it'll be more evergreen in that sense, but you're less likely to have snipers for like people entering, because it's not a leveling zone in a sense. So yeah, definitely curious about that, and remains to be seen. But yeah, no, honestly, I think they've got exactly what they want here. I'm surprised to see the lore notes coming back, but I'm a big fan of that as well. And that's that pretty much that covers most everything here. You know, the EXP chaining is obviously still here. EXP chaining exists in the whole game. It just works a little bit more strictly in these zones. It's more important to your overall like progression to do that here.
Yeah.
So yeah, then they just run around, do the zone, briefly cover the different content types that we've already gone over. And then there's also the treasures with the magic pots as well. They have a bunny equivalent. Although this one requires you to buy elixirs if you want the hint. And it seems like the treasure's always on the map and the magic pots just tell you where it is if you offer them an elixir. So in theory, you might be able to treasure hunt without using the magic pots. So somebody's going to outline all the spots on the map and people are just going to run around and just check all the spots. It's possible, at the very least, for treasure hunting. But we don't know. That's again, it's still not entirely clear.
Yeah. And another thing I'm kind of curious about, because again, we trying to make some money. Because Eureka had there was a market in Eureka
There still is a market.
Fucking
If people who do BA need to buy actions. People who come in need to buy actions.
No, not the actions. I'm going to talk about the actions market. Fuck, what was it? It was
the Kieran's Oso. There's also the Vermilion Cloak. There's also the Blitz Ring, which was once the Speed Belt. There's also the Magicite
it was a yin yang drop.
Yeah, that's the Magicite upgrade material. That's the tissue.
Yeah. So that's what I'm kind of curious about, is what the market like. I mean, it's like in the beginning, it's gonna be good. Like it's gonna be profitable.
Well, you also have to remember the armor does increase your. We know that the armor gives you increased like knowledge of some capacity. Like not like we don't know exactly how it works. We don't know if it's like knowledge level +1 or whatever the actual stat's gonna read. But we do know there is the armor and weapons will give you bonus stats inside. So it could be that the way to upgrade those maybe is something that can earn income. It's possible. But yeah, I know what you mean. To see what the Corpa is like. Now, one of the interesting things is the patch update cadence for this. We talked about that deep dungeon bit earlier. But the patch update cadence is 7.25 is Occult Crescent plus all the content that comes with the initial release. Nothing in 7.3x because we're getting other content in 7.3x. Specifically, they note the Deep Dungeon Edition as the reason why there is no zone here.
Yep.
Then there will be new phantom jobs in the original zone in 7.4x, and then there will be another new area and even more, basically the same equivalent content that there was in the initial release of Occult Crescent in 7.5x. Very, very curious to see what the relic upgrade cadence looks like, because I assume it will be the same update. Every patch will still be a relic. They won't wait till because adding new phantom jobs has nothing to do with upgrading your phantom weapon. So I would assume they just add steps that use whatever is already available in there or whatever content outside. And then, they just continue to effectively give you more grind.
Yeah. And how are you feeling about this relic as opposed to
the Manderville? Anything's better than the fucking Manderville weapon, dude. Just make me play the game for the love of Christ, dude. So, ugh. And as a reminder, I have every relic weapon in the game. And I'll be making every relic weapon here.
Because you're on drugs.
I am the least on drugs anyone could be. Well, that's not true. I have my drug.
There you go.
It's the coffee. There you go. Also, content. I'm also almost done platinuming every mainline Final Fantasy game, Sly. You got to remember, I'm kind of a professional. I'm on 13 right now. 13 and 13 too, and all the mainline games are done. I have 14 already even. On both PS4 and PS5, Sly. Good old caffeine. The armor sets are Final Fantasy V sets. We mentioned some from earlier, but Lena, one of the characters from 5, she's one of the sets. Ferris, definitely the best set here.
Ferris is the fucking best set, and I knew it would. I knew it would be. I knew, like, just strictly looking at a mono art, like, I knew Ferris would be the fucking best set.
I bet it's not even a Fizz range set. If the Cannoneer is going to end up being the
No,
Fizz
it's
range
glam.
set.
To me, it's glam. I don't even give a shit about that. Nothing.
I need to be able to
glam.
wear it to glam it, Sly. If I can't wear it, I can't glam it.
You know, wear it.
I have to play a different job. Bart, by the way, the Bart set was the worst set to show on a fucking pale white Makote with pale white hair with this pale white set on a white fucking piece of paper. Put an outline around him, goddammit, or print him out on something that's a different color.
Yeah, that boy just blended. He blended.
That dude looks like me when the new expansion comes out and I haven't seen the sun in a week.
Oh my God.
My pale
at least
I posted a physique picture and I was like, hold on, I have to censor this so I don't blind everyone with how fucking pale I am.
Yeah, I'm gonna need Yoshi P to use Photoshop and like do some opacity on the background because that boy pale.
Print it out on something that's not white. Or just put it on a slide for fuck's sake. After 11 years.
The Berserker set looks it's
the feet are bugging me out, but other than that, it's fine.
Yeah, and then of course we got Captain Crunch.
Yeah, and then the Dunce Mage,
and then the Dunce Mage. Yeah,
there you
go. I can accept Time Mage for everything from like the chin down. It's just that hat. I will not be doing the fucking stupid hat for a Time Mage. Holy shit.
Be back and make the hat the
hat
instead of the belt.
The loser wears the dunce cap.
The loser wears the dunce cap. The winner wears the belt. There you go.
Yeah.
And then there's also it's probably a treasure map glam, I'd assume.
Which I mean looks good. Okay. As a venue owner, that's going to be the new bartender glam. I can tell you that right now. Every bartender will have that glam. If you go to a venue, you're going to see every bartender with something akin to this.
Yeah. I mean, I don't go to venues, so I won't see it, but yeah, they'll see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then they showed off some minions, some mounts. We have to see a beagle for a new minion.
Yeah.
Now, interestingly, not everyone's going to recognize the next minion. So there are 3 bosses in Final Fantasy V. If I'm remembering, it's Phobos, Triton, and Nereid. And that's
Nereid.
No, that's Triton.
Oh, okay. That's Triton. Okay.
Yeah. And then Nereid and Phobos. They did say there are 2 other minions that look identical, and that's the other 2. They're also featured in 6. I kind of forgot they were in 5 at first. I had to have chat remind me of that.
Oh yeah, okay. So Phobos is the green one. Okay. Yeah.
Well, I don't know colors. I don't know what fucking color this thing is, but I just know that this one is Triton. And they apparently said they're part of a quest, I guess, because they said there are 2 more similar to this one, and they mentioned oh well, no, never mind. This is okay. I'm mixing up which one they're talking about. So yeah, they just said there's 2 more similar, Phobos, Nereid, and Triton, all gonna be excuse me, minions.
Okay, and okay, the one after.
What is this?
The fuck is this fish?
That's not a fish. I don't know what that is, but I don't think it's a fish. His face is this way.
It's the eye.
It is the eye. The eye is what made me think fish when I saw it too. It says that you can obtain this in a certain quest with a very unique story. Is this from the Corn Servant quest?
Oh my.
Is this like his new best friend, the Corn Servant?
It looks like it's wearing pants.
It does look like it's wearing pants. I thought the same thing. I think it is wearing pants.
Oh my God.
A diaper, it looks like more so than pants. I don't know.
And of course, Burb.
Dove. Now I want to watch Home Alone 2 again.
And then
we have Oppressor. Fucking Oppressor. Dude.
Oppressor. Yeah.
It's PvP.
And then we get a Tonka truck. We get a cosmic Tonka truck. I love this. I love this fucking minion so much. I want one.
I don't know if you noticed. So you notice this one's smiling. That's on purpose.
Yeah, it has a smiley face. It looks like
Did you notice that the mech has a smiley face on the back?
I did not.
It's the back of the legs are gold plated for the eyes, and then the bottom, like under it does this in gold plating. So if you go back and watch the live letter when he's flying around on the mech, there's no screenshots of it here, but the back of the mech does also have a smiley face.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more cleverly hidden, but it's also way bigger once you see that it's there. Then we had the mounts. So first is the Forked Tower mount, which is the Demon Brick.
The Demon Brick, part of the spitting demon wall. Yeah.
It's
weird. It's weird that you can see. Okay, it's weird because of the proportions, but since Yoshi P is a Lala, that you can see their hands sticking out, and I'm like, a Lala's not that big.
Well, that's just the animation of flying. Everyone's hands are going to stick out when they're flying. That's like the flying animation is your character doing this.
Yeah.
To flap. So, quality mount already right off the bat. Then they showed us the M8S, presumably the M8S mount.
Which he wasn't supposed to show it because of the music, but
no, he was okay to show it. He just had to mute the BGM because we got to hear the raid theme very briefly. So that's everyone actually thought. A lot of people predicted the car was going to be the Savage mount this time, even way back. So you were all right. Good job. I thought it made sense too. Yeah. Then we got to see the mech from the roulette.
The robot.
Yes, this is the dark robot. I mean, there might be a white robot too. We don't know, like the one on the moon. We don't know.
God, we need to be able to fucking dye our.
Somebody said that in my chat. They're like, "Can we dye the mount?" And I was like, "I sincerely doubt that. I think there's probably just a black one and maybe a white one." Then we have airship mount, which looks to be. I think the theme we're hearing is the Crescent Island theme. There, I'd have to go back and listen to it. I would assume it's either from the Magic Pot box. The loot that you find with the magic pots, or the field notes.
Do you think this is a 4-person mount? Because it looks like it has space for it.
It definitely has the space for it. You know what? I want the car to be a 4-person mount, and when you take off, the people in the back seat,
you can see the people in the windows.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
It's possible. It's absolutely possible. But this is almost certainly going to be one of the two. It's definitely not also from Forked Tower, but I mean, Final Fantasy V mount, Crescent Island music, like I'm going to guess the field notes personally, but it's 50-50. It makes sense. If the magic pots are like the bunnies, then it makes sense to also expect that a mount would be a reward there too. So, and these also aren't probably all the mounts from the patch, mind you. So, then we had the Beatrix wings, which sprout her sword in the back when you take off, and we got to briefly hear the Roses of May remix. So that was some good shit right there. I was definitely pleased with what I heard for Roses of May. And then that's kind of the end of the live letter, like until QVC, like they do the patch cadence, they show off the sprint jog thing. And that's oh no, okay, there was one more thing that I said we were going to save for later. They ended on a bombshell, Sly.
What's that?
Massive bombshell.
Okay.
We can finally, when doing our rotation, queue up pots, food, and sprint.
They've been talking about this for the longest time, and we've gotten kind of like patchwork solutions to this, but now, yeah, you're right. This is fucking big. This is fucking big. So
only took him 11 fucking years.
My sprint didn't go off. Hey, my food didn't go off. Hey, my pot didn't go off. Yeah, none of that shit anymore.
Nope. The game just works. You want to know what's funny about that, Sly? There is
What's up?
a plugin was doing that.
Somebody died for these sins again.
Somebody died for these sins. Yep.
Yeah. We thank you for your service. Feel free to go get your Grand Slam at Denny's. Of course. Thank you.
There's always every single patch. Every single patch. We have to salute the plugin people.
Yeah. 07's in chat. Sly 07's in chat. We thank you for your service. Feel free to go get your Grand Slam at Denny's.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have more of that when we read the patch notes next week. But we have one here. Yep, that's we almost got through the whole thing without it, but we didn't.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the patch cadence they go over. I was surprised it was May 27th for Occult Crescent because I thought it was going to be May 20th.
Yeah.
Because that's so. I guess technically. No, even then that doesn't make sense. So they said it would be 4 weeks between 0.21 and 0.25, but it's 5 weeks. So, a little weird.
Yeah.
Anyway. And the Yoshi P also would like to remind you that 14's not going anywhere. Enjoy your Monster Hunter life.
We talked about this in pre-show, but what life?
Yeah, I can't kill any more Arkvelds, guys. I'm sorry. But by then, by the time...
really, like, I'm getting so fucking tired of Arkvel and fucking Gore, especially Gore. Fuck Gore. Gore can fucking eat a dick. God damn it. Gore does not need to go that hard. He's never gone that hard in fucking any other Monster Hunter, but now... And again, the worst part is he's fucking blind. We're getting fucking beaten by the monster equivalent of Ray Charles. That fucking sucks.
I mean... I really wish that we have a monster with Ray in the name. I don't know if it's blind though.
No, Ray now is not blind. Gore Magala is blind. Gore Magala is the equivalent of Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles. Like we are getting our asses handed to us constantly. I have to go back to fucking camps to get more fucking potions.
Have you considered playing better?
Yeah. He hurts. He hurts. I have the amazing, like I have an amazing fucking switch axe swag axe build. And then of course my gunlance build, Mrhappy. He just hurts.
I just pull rubble into that dumbass's face.
Yeah, and he will go to the worst places possible to fight.
He's way too big for half the places he fights.
Half the places, yeah. He will go through like the thinnest hallway. He's I'm here now.
I found a gold crown Gore Magala, and I was like, oh, this come the fuck on.
Yeah, exactly. I fucking hate him, dude.
Oh man.
At least Arkvel doesn't do that.
Yeah, no, but I hate.
Yeah, we got the QVC.
I hate Arkveld's hitboxes, so it's still I don't know if it's that much better.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah. Then we got the quick QVC section. There were some onesies, sleep masks, a keyboard, some keycaps to go over everything as well.
The stack. Yeah.
I actually have
that's the escape key.
I actually have a major problem with that being the escape key. While I understand there's a cadence, right? Because you see that and you want to get out. Yeah. So it's the escape key. What it should really be is it should be the key for F4 because along with Alt, that's the fastest way to escape. So if I can force it onto the F4, cool. But thankfully, I don't really need to even consider that thanks to having access to this amazing.
No. I need the people debuff key.
That's the entire keyboard, Sly.
Yeah, with the Jackie Chan meme of like,
get a keycap of Jackie Chan going, and just it's an interesting keycap choice. Oh man, maybe I could buy these keycaps and put them on my highly functioning SteelSeries Apex Pro mechanical keyboard that people can get by typing !SteelSeries and using the discount code Mrhappy to save 12% on SteelSeries year round, or using the description of the video on YouTube in order to find that same link and discount code.
Bars.
Yeah.
And then after, of course, after that, we got the Easton, which is
The whiskey.
a few things, but other than that, part of the Easton collaboration is the Amahagan whiskey, which we talked about. Yeah, the again. Okay, it was the Zodiac. The Zodiac whiskey is definitely darker. The Highland whiskey, I don't know if they did that on purpose.
Probably, yeah, light and
lighter,
dark. I'd assume.
Yeah, lighter than the. So I would say, if I had to guess, the Zodiac whiskey probably is aged a little bit longer than the Highland whiskey because the Highland whiskey looks light as fuck. So if I had to guess, the Highland whiskey is maybe like a 2-year age, and then the Zodiac, I would say maybe at minimum would be 4.
I just want alcohol. That's up. But it's sold out, so it's not like I can get it anyway.
Yeah. So.
Then they had the shirt. They also had the line stickers, which the Fox Hollows one is by far the best one on there.
Wait. The best one.
I think I know what you're gonna say.
Hey, babe. Hey, babe. You wanna come over and watch some movies? The car.
Hey, what are you doing right now?
I'm on the way.
Emoji.
Yeah, car emoji. I'm on the way.
See, I think my favorite one, like in terms of how I would apply it to like an actual use case.
Please don't say it's the brink of death.
It's brink of death, and like, have you ever had somebody say something and you're like, I'm fucking dead, skull emoji? Literally, I'm brinked, skull.
I'm not gonna lie. The Namazu one goes pretty hard. Like the Namazu one is just a basic what the fuck.
Yeah, and there's also the corn servant.
Yeah.
So it's good. I mean, it's not like I'll ever use line, but there's always that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of bricked up, you're brinked up. It's perfect. Anyway, we've got primals. That's Japan tour. Merchandise available in April. The player exclusive first round ticket lottery is available March 20th. And then he shows off one of the shirts. So, yeah, if you want the shirt, then the merchandise date is the one you're looking for there. Then there's the reminder of the ongoing sweepstakes with the new emote that we got in 7.16, the Instax one. And they're also looking for some new staff. Now, one of these is an assistant community manager specializing in German language. The other is another Japanese English / interpreter and translator, which is interesting. Ooh. I wonder if they just need spare bodies. Just need more of them. Just more. Maybe they need the more for traveling and everything.
Yeah.
And then there's a patch note reading on the 24th. I know because I'll be doing it too. Which one will you tune into? I don't know. Why not both? Right. And that covers the entirety of the live letter. Overall, a lot of discussion points.
Oh, yeah.
Very curious to see how it all pans out, and very much an apex point for Dawn Trail, because people will be very harshly judging both the new contents that will be coming out 4 and 9 weeks after. Rightfully so. But I'm just curious how that'll pan out. And with that, I've been awake for 13 hours.
He needs to go sleep.
I have raid in 3 hours.
He needs to go sleep.
I'm hungry.
He needs to go eat.
Then maybe, I don't know if I'm getting up. This might be a case of do not close your eyes.
Like, just tell them to find a fucking sub and they can find
No, there's no point in doing that. We're getting ready for patch. That's the whole point. Let's get a sub. Would it just do that? That doesn't make any sense. Just saying. Doesn't make any sense. Yeah. But with that, that's going to be a wrap for State of the Realm today.
Yeah.
So appreciate everyone for tuning in. I also have to edit these together for YouTube tomorrow because we had the error. So I'm going to do that right away just to make sure that I do not forget and then go, oh, let me upload. Oh, I forgot. let's not do that. So with that, yeah, thanks everyone for hanging out. Sly, thanks. It's good to see you again after so long.
I know. I missed you.
I missed you too. I miss you every week though. So when I skip weeks, it's like,
hey, I'm here. I ain't going anywhere.
so why don't you tell everyone what you're up to?
Well, yeah, you can find me on twitch.tv/Sly, aka Gray Fox, Twitter, Sly, aka Gray Fox, Blue Sky, Sly, aka Gray Fox, Instagram, Sly, aka Gray Fox TTV. What am I up to? For some reason, I'm still hunting. Because why? Because why not? Why not? Why not? Let's try to get that HR up, even though I'm like HR 130 something. And yeah. Let's get that HR up. Like people need shit, people need parts, people are building stuff. Let's do that. I just recently started a goal to turn this space, as you see right here, into the true velvet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The painting, do the wall paint, shelves for the bourbon, lighting, the whole 9 yards. Yeah. I recently started a goal to make this the true velvet room because I wanted the space to be a part of the stream, as you know, as opposed to it just being, a room. So, yeah. And people are asking, will the velvet coat come back? Yes. The velvet jacket will come back as part of the velvet.
Okay.
So yeah, if you want to help out with that, feel free. Not required, but thank you. But yeah, like again, like we were talking about in the beginning, every month is fucking stacked. Kazan, the First Berserker, Monster Hunter patch update, the actual Final Fantasy 14 patch. There's so much shit coming out in the coming months.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's a good time to be a gamer. It's a really good time to be a gamer. But yeah, and of course after this I will be on hunting, and of course today is Friday, so I always do my bourbon content on Friday, and I did happen to get a new bottle that I will try tonight. Sagamore Double Oak. I've been kind of curious about this one, so went and bought it. We'll try it tonight, and then of course watch some bourbon content. You're more than welcome to come and join me for my old man content, which I like to call it, because I'm in my old man phase, and like my trips involve going to Kentucky for the Bourbon Trail, which was an amazing one. Yeah, I got like 12 bottles from that trip alone.
I could do with a restock.
So
I also barely drink my whiskey, but
like, yeah, these were like distillery, okay, 10 out of the 12 were distillery exclusives. 2 out of the 12 were just because, one I was looking for, like really looking forward to, and I could only get it at James B. Meme. But then I found it at a Total Wine, so I got another bottle of it. So I have two of the unicorn that I've had, like, not even opened. I'm only taking like two Glens of. So it's a special occasion bottle. My old granddad 16 year, which is my favorite. Yeah. And I'm seriously contemplating taking another trip to Kentucky in coming months or however long. So we'll see. Old man content. You can come to Sly for some old man Sly content. Daddy Sly will teach you about bourbon if you need some help, picking out a whiskey, or you don't really drink, or you need, because it's decision overload. So I can help you out with that. But that's me. Happy, what are you up to? What are you doing?
Mr. Happy 1227 on everything, pretty much at this point. I'm very status quo right now. I've been dealing with some personal stuff, some good, some not so good. That being said, busy season is about to really, really, flare up with 14. Since I'll basically be doing everything: Savage Day 1, Cosmic Day 1, Claire Obscure, I mean, Xenoblade is in a week as well, which I need to. I'm very curious about because I judge Xenoblade games pretty harshly, but I'm a fan of like 1.5 of them. So, I want to see if this pulls in the other direction a little bit more. And right now I'm having a party at Hope's house in Final Fantasy 13, farming up credit chips so I can keep working on my platinum trophy for that. I am only 2 Final Fantasy games short of platinuming every Final Fantasy game. And I'm outlining those platinums in a video series on YouTube as well. So for anyone who is looking for some general means of getting them yourself without going crazy, I went crazy first, so you can only go slightly less crazy. I'll do my best. Yeah. So those are the things occupying my time. I'm also going to PAX in May. So
there you go.
Yeah. Forget when. I think it's like early May. I've already forgotten. It's all booked. I don't fucking know.
What, PAX East?
Yeah, PAX East.
That's kind of later than what it normally. Wow.
They usually, from what I recall, they like alternate between like one that's kind of in May and one that's in like March or April or something. So
no, like it's Boston, so it, like usually is in like winter. I'd say. I think
well, March, like, yeah, March is their like winter PAX East schedule.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be going to that too. Yeah. And other than that, it'll be just busy with patch stuff and a lot of videos, a lot of stuff. So staying busy. But anyway, that's going to be a wrap for us. I'm going to go get something to eat and may or may not nap before raid. I will probably not, in all honesty. Because if I nap, I'm not waking up. And then I'm missing raid, and then that's 7 people I've disappointed. And I don't want to do that. So with that, we will go into a very short post show. And we will see you next week for a patch note reading. That is next Friday's show. We will have the preliminary patch notes. Not the full patch notes. No job adjustments. But we will have the preliminary patch notes. So that's what we're going to be looking at. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And we will see you next week. Until then, bye-bye.
See you soon.